The Halcyon, a ship with over 270 years of history that has been taking its sweet ass time and has been chugging along its merry way, taking up valuable space in the hyperspace lane and getting in the way of important Imperial naval operations. We almost crashed into the damn thing during what was supposed to be a routine TIE patrol. At first glance, this thing looks like a CR-90 Corvette, and an Imperial class Star Destroyer had a good night out, doesn't it? It is by far one of the strangest ships that I have had the liberty of looking at, with the interior and exterior looking as if they come from a different galaxy altogether, which is not too far-fetched to think, considering the ship is over 200 years old. The era that the ship was born into was known as the High Republic, a strange and relatively boring time period in Republic history due to everything being rather swell. You can look up this era in your own time, but every part about the ship's interior and exterior exudes ancient Corellian architecture. Specifically, this is an MPO 1400 model of the Corellian Engineering Corporation, typically known for their freighters, corvettes and vessels of a utilitarian design and practical use. So, a major anomaly for a manufacturer not acquainted to building a ship like the Halcyon. This is a pleasure and cruising vessel, which should explain everything, as those are some of the rarest ship types I can think of. As, let's be honest, when everyone and their grandmother in this galaxy has access to a hyperdrive in some form or another, who is this thing even for? Do you have nothing better to do with your hard-earned credits? Well, why not blow them all on a several-week-long pleasure vacation? Trip on space, gamble and drink your problems away. There's no age limit aboard the Halcyon, so why not bring the kids along? It is after all where dreams come true. Show them the great sights the galaxy has to offer. Indulge in many onboard youngster activities. Indulge the whole family in all you can see and eat on board. You hear that, folks? That's the sound of you giving every single chip to the Chandrilla Starline, the Halcyon, bringing luxury style to the stars. An exaggeration, and largely untrue by this point, because the vessel has now been seized and put under Imperial control. So now the only difference being that it is no longer wealthy entrepreneurs and royal families doing everything I just mentioned, but high-ranking Imperial personnel that have gotten a little too cushy in their position, while the rest of us slug it out in the Civil War. Also, as you heard, before we seized it, the ship was owned and operated by the Chandrilla Starline, whom I believe charged a price of a lot of credits for the many somehow eager guests to come stay in their overpriced, glorified, week-long galactic sightseeing tour, which you can get with literally any other ship for a fraction of the price. The design of the ship aims to emit a sense of style, perfection and pleasure, with the design philosophy catering to guest approval and making them feel welcome yet pampered to, solidifying their already shaky illusions of grandeur as they try to justify why they spent an absurd amount of credit to stay aboard the one and only Halcyon, looking something more akin to the Narkina style of prisons, with the only sense of design philosophy I get from it being that of sterility. Onboard amenities available to guests included the Sublight Lounge for all your drinking and gambling needs, with a large menu of drink options and sabacc tables at your service for you to indulge in your worst vices. If you didn't fancy a snack in here, then fine dining was also available in the exquisite Crown of Corellia restaurant, a questionable name that featured
Look above and see the world slowly emerge before your eyes. Come and fly to the edge of the horizon.
questionable live entertainment, as the performers interrupted your dinner with a song and dance routine that's sure to have gotten anyone with even an ounce of decency groaning. Heading on back to your cabin, you'll find the stiffest looking pair of beds you'll ever see, that came with a lifetime guarantee supply of back issues for both you and the little ones, and I hope you just love your fantastic view of nothing, because that's all you would see out the window on this thing. Nothing. Infinite black abyss. If that view doesn't somehow satiate you, then step aboard the bridge and see a sight quite like no. Okay, I know this is a cruise vessel and all, but the biggest offence that this ship ever made was the fact that its crew allowed non-authorised personnel to step aboard its bridge. With this complete disregard for basic naval safety, it is nothing short of a miracle from whatever creator resides within the stars that this thing has not been hijacked by onboard passengers, at least from what I know. Finally, it had a lightsaber training pod, which I'm not allowed to talk about for some reason, and a climate simulator, which allows you to get familiar with the climate of your intended destination, whatever that means. And well, that's pretty much it. The rest is just crew utility space. Moving on to the exterior, the vessel is 300 meters long from bow to stern, so not the biggest or the smallest for a cruise ship. It comes surprisingly more strapped than you might think, with 12 forward mounted turbo laser cannon, so while it won't be partaking in any battle anytime soon, it can defend itself, making use of its carrying capacity of around 100 to 500 people on board, so there are for sure no shortage of positions needed to keep this thing flying. With a whopping 13 engine ports, this ship puts most others to shame with the sheer girth on its backside, yet its max atmospheric speed is not officially disclosed. If I were to guess, I'd say it could achieve somewhere in the range of 800 km per hour and upwards, considering its job is to get people to their destination. Could be wrong, but do let me know in the comments if you know. So why should this ship not exist? Well, I mean, just look at it. The very existence of this ship model is a galaxy-spanning anomaly to me, as being in an age where interstellar travel is as easy as walking to your neighbour's door, there really is no need or practical use for a vessel like the Halcyon. So why then would anyone want to spend a week or two trapped aboard this weird and delusional echo chamber of a ship, compared to staying at a far superior planetary resort, where the air is fresh, the water clean, the land open and the gravity, well, being gravity? Well, that question may just be impossible to answer, since you cannot exactly know what individual people want, but I have my theories. As stated before, some people have nothing better to do with their credits than to spend it rather than choosing something challenging or self-fulfilling. They go ahead and give it to the Chandrilla Starline and choose a temporary week-long hit of joy rather than a lifetime supply of memories, leaving one feeling hollow after. But maybe it's not all negative. Maybe they want to see the stars, relax and get away from greater galactic issues, see new locations and simply share time with others. Or maybe they want to indulge themselves and be gluttonous. So, if you could, would you be a customer aboard the Halcyon? There are so many reasons one could have chosen to take a trip on this ship, but that number of people really shouldn't have been anywhere near high enough for this thing to have had any significant customer base. So, maybe it's for the best or worse now that the Empire has confiscated it. Me personally, I'd still say the latter. So start your journey into the Empire today, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and with that, long live the Empire and may the Force be with you.